This is HBR News number 358. He-Peating hurts women. U.S. soccer team crushes the wage gap, where we reflect on the stories of the week and give it the Badger treatment. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Honey Badger Radio. This is HBR News, where we talk about the goofy, silly news of the week, and we try to put maybe a slightly different perspective on it that most others don't, because if you wanted to get like the typical responses, you'd go somewhere else, but you want to get the takes that we have, which can be a bit spicier, so much so that we can't do a full show on YouTube today because I don't know what is safe and unsafe for YouTube.
Is asshole.
Yes, because yes, because YouTube is asshole. Unfortunately, we're a bit short-handed on this week's show. It's just me and the doctor, but I think that
there were two.
Yes, but I think that we will be able to handle it because some of this stuff it gets pretty long-winded, and I think that being that, we can be terse, maybe that will, balance things out. I don't know. So if Hannah may show up. If she does, I'm just going to let her in and we're just going to go from there. But I don't honestly know for certain. I don't think so because she's kind of stretched thin like butter across too much bread. So, wherever you are, Hannah, I hope you're doing okay. Same thing with Mike J. He's got stuff he's dealing with his family. So Mike and I are going to cover the shift. I was going to say something about a ship, but it just didn't come out correctly. So,
and we have nothing to say about monkeypox. So
yes,
sorry if you tuned in for that, but it's a non-story.
Nope, not talking about it. All right. So anyway, I am your host, Brian, and I'm joined by Mike, the Dr. Randomer, and we are going to be talking about more garden tools mad of the week. This week, we're going to be talking about the new feminist term used to smash the patriarchy, which we'll get into once we start. A new policy that will ensure and guarantee the women's soccer team will receive equal pay to the men's soccer team. No word yet on whether or not the high school soccer team that crushed the women's soccer team is going to get any money, but it's a start. We're moving in the right direction, I guess. Elon Musk is in the news again. He's upset the wrong people, and now he's in trouble in a way that is all too familiar to people like us. And feminists come for his reputation, and more. So there is a really interesting story at the end of this. So don't go away. Don't tune out. You're going to really find the last story interesting. So stick around. It's going to be a good time, and be sure to join us afterwards for the patron only show. On this week's patron only show, I thought I would do something a little bit less annoying and stressful. And what we're going to do is we're going to watch the very new, just dropped, hot off the presses, full trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder. And if you haven't seen it yet, then you got to join us for this, because there is a really big reason that I think it might be fun to discuss in the patron show. Obviously, it's about women's and well, I don't want to give anything away. I watched it.
Unsolicited opinions on Israel.
I don't know. I mean, you know what? That's a good question. There are gods in it. But I think that the gods of the movie are not Semitic gods, so maybe that won't be in it. But then again, maybe there's an allegory. Maybe there's some illusions in it. We'll have to see. I don't know. But if you guys want to join us and hang out with us and have a laugh, this is trash. I will never watch. They're not going to get a second of my time, but I will scoff and laugh at the trailer, because that is all that shit deserves, is absolute ridicule of the highest level. This is where the comedians get to shine. So If you want to join us in the patron-only show, either as a member of the audience like you are right now, or even a part of the discussion itself, like where you can also share your thoughts, please consider becoming a badger by going to feedthebadger.com and setting up a monthly subscription. If you give $5, that'll be enough to get you into the Discord, where you'll be able to participate in all of the additional activities. There's lots of additional content. There are movie nights, there's debates, there's gaming nights, there's all kinds of stuff going on all the time. And it's probably a good idea to be to foster a community that cares about men and that considers the male perspective when we're basically doing anything, when we're looking at the world around us. So please consider joining us on feedthebadger.com. And if you don't want to wake up one morning to find that we have been yeeted from the internet, please go to badgerfeed.com or honeybadgerradio.com. That's where it's like an archive where all of our additional content lives. And so be sure to check that out. And I think if you want to support, again, go to Feed the Badger. There's also, you can send us Superchows. Go to feedthebadger.com/just the tip, and you can send us Superchows there. The benefit of that is that Superchows don't take as much money out. YouTube takes like half of a super chat, for example. Rumble takes a lot less. So if you want to send it to us through there, you can do that. But like the Super Chow, we get nearly 100% minus like minor fees just for the processing, which is fair. So, all right. So with all that said, we're going to get into the stories. If you're watching us on YouTube, remember, I'm going to do the first story and then the YouTube stream is going to end. But we will still be live, so go follow us on Twitch. If you don't like Rumble, I know some people have complaints about the way Rumble works or, issues with Rumble. It is a work in progress. I learned today that one of these, there's a Rumble user that I watch because I like his attitude, Dan Bongino. And he's like a former White House, Secret Service guy, I think. And I guess he started Rumble. I didn't even know that. I thought that he was just using it. So, and you know what? He seems like a stand-up guy to me. I like his content, and he's trying to like make the platform more and more viable. And there are a lot of people moving there. But if there are technical issues you have with Rumble, let us know what they are in the comments, and maybe I'll send an email to Bongino and see, well, you guys gonna look into these things. But we do need alternative media. So it doesn't matter where you find us, just find us, Twitch, DLive, Facebook. We're even on Twitter. I guess Twitter has live streaming. Since Twitter might be going in a better direction, it might be a good idea to check us out there. And Facebook, which for some reason hasn't completely destroyed our presence yet. I guess Zuckerberg is too busy hanging around in the virtual world of Meta to be bothered. So, okay, with all of that out of the way, thank you guys so much. Let us get into lay stories. So first, feminists. And by the way, a special shout out to Stapler, my wife, Lindsay. She did all the write-ups today because the people who normally would be helping were unavailable. And she offered to do them all. And I said, okay, if you're sure, and she did. So, all right. In 2017, so this isn't like brand new, but it's becoming like it's coming back into the public, the feminist consciousness, the hive mind, the Borg ship. Business Insider published an article about something called He-Peating. It's femsplaining for when a woman suggests an idea that is ignored, but ultimately repeated by a man who is praised for it. That's the best. Originally, astronomy professor Nicole Guglielmici.
Is that a thing, or is that a typo?
It might be a typo. It says astronomy. It might be astronomy, but
it's difficult to tell when we keep getting words like He-Peating.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a made-up discipline. I mean, does it even matter? Okay, so originally, astronomy professor Nicole Guglielmici, wow, that is the most Italian name ever, tweeted, quote, My friends coined a word, he-peated, for when a woman suggests an idea and it's ignored, but then a man says the same thing and everyone loves it, end quote. Since 2017, the term has had wavering popularity despite many women sharing the experience being victimized by he-peating. Although a new Guardian article reports the term hasn't made it into the dictionary yet, like they're really trying to put it in there. The term has just been introduced into an internal handbook for the staff of the exam regulator OFQUAL, that's OFQUAL, where he-peating is described as, quote, a situation where a man repeats a woman's comments or ideas and then is praised for them as if they were his own, end quote. Some cheek from the Guardian. Don't say, wouldn't he-jack be a better word? Do say, shut up, no one asked you. He-jack? It's like hijack, you know?
I mean, he itself is problematic because it's problematically presumptuous. It'll need to be non-birthing person jacking. I realize this ruins the whole play on words, but this is what happens when you ruin any feasible avenue of comedy, even simple puns. But regarding the circumstance of the he-peating thing, has anyone actually seen that happen? Like outside of feminist fiction, it's one of their go-to scenarios, particularly in fictional boardroom meetings. A woman suggests something, gets ignored. A man suggests the same thing, and the boss goes, "Good idea, male person." We've seen it fabricated in propaganda 1,000 times, but has anyone actually seen it happen in real life?
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. At some point
in a boardroom meeting, because none of us have, apart from our own boardroom meetings, and they're female populated. But it's just like the wage gap. They assume it's true because they've claimed it's true 1,000 times in their propaganda, even though they've never been able to produce any circumstantial proof. Not even once, let alone in the pervasive pattern they claim is out there. And as far as I could tell, the opposite is far more prominent. For instance, no one gave a shit about men's rights until women started talking about it. No one could even conceive of the term men's rights advocate until they had to wrap their heads around the idea that a woman can be one. Maybe it was the same with feminism. When way back
a lot of people credit feminism as something that men started, but I don't think that it didn't.
Charles Fourier. Charles Fourier came up with it and coined it, and I imagine when he did, most people called him a simp and told him to fuck off. But as soon as women got hold of it and started blowing shit up on behalf of it, everyone went, "Yeah, all right, let's have 100 years of darkness. What's the worst that could happen after all?"
Yeah, exactly.
and prohibition, of course. All kinds of Puritans have been trying to ban alcohol for centuries, to no avail anywhere outside the Middle East. But as soon as American women's groups lobbied for prohibition, it went ahead and happened. I mean, it's what the Whammons want, so it can't possibly be a hideous disaster. Narrator's voice, it was a hideous disaster. And these are just a few examples of it happening en masse, not just anecdotally, let alone fictionally anecdotally in propaganda. I'm sure y'all can think of several more. Leave a comment below, and like and subscribe.
Yeah. I just thought this one was just so silly. Of course, but what really is amazing is that they're literally saying we need this in the dictionary. Like but do you remember? Because I know that Randomcam, I know that you're like really big on language, especially the English language. So you know it is the best language, and clearly. But also, it's just really interesting because it's drawing from so many places, and it's so rich. But like, do you remember? This is good. I'm going to be going to the Wayback Machine. Do you remember Francesca Ramsey, who made, you guys might remember her. She was a feminist, but also like a womanist, like a black feminist that would talk about race, but also about patriarchy and gender. And she got like a job working with MTV around the same time as Lacey Green, and they were doing this.
She did that video where she put up a load of words that, look, feminists have added all of these words to the dictionary.
Yes.
Propaganda words.
Exactly, where she said, well, she was talking about words that we shouldn't be allowed to use anymore. And that because feminists have made up a bunch of additional words which are used for feminist propaganda, it means that we have more speech, not less speech. Look at all these words. And among them were mansplaining, man-interrupting, and, the usual feminist crap, right?
And so, I would not be in favor of removing them from the dictionary. In the interests of historical curation, I think every word that feminists add to the greater lexicon should be kept in the greater lexicon, so we can remember exactly what feminists did to our language and indeed our various dictionaries in the late 20th and early 21st centuries.
Yes.
And you can even describe them in the dictionary in terms of what they were supposed to mean. I have confidence that if we ever do get out of this nightmare, that people will look upon those words and go, what a fucking stupid bunch of words. I'm glad people don't use them anymore. What a bunch of cunts.
Yes. I hope so. So anyway, in closing, I don't know if you have any final thoughts on the He-Peating thing, but I'm going to try and make that a reality. I'm going to He-Peat as often as I can. And then when a guy gives me credit for saying something a woman just said, I'm going to look to see where her reaction is going to be. And I'm going to maximize my smugness. And that's going to be my life mission now, is to He-Peat successfully, because it's only successful if it gets praise. So I could just reword whatever she said another way and maybe help her understand. Maybe you can mix some He-Peating with some mansplaining and do like double the emotional damage. I'm going to make it my life's mission now. All right. So that's the end of that story. Let us know what you guys think about this in the comment section. I'm going to move on, but before I do, I'm going to read your super chats if you guys have any, and we're going to close out the YouTube. So the rest of this show is going to be going to Rumble, and it's going to be going to Twitch and DLive and everywhere else that where we are, Facebook, Twitter, etc. So be sure to migrate over to those platforms, because the YouTube show is about to come to a premature end. So anyway, let's take a look at, I'm going to see if I can find the Superchow channel. Here we go. I got some Superchows. So let's see. Amasang gives us $5. This is from a little while ago. And says, funds for munitions to sink the HMS censorship. Thank you, Amasang. Byron, because Allison didn't put a done in here, so I guess I have to read those. No, wait, she's already read these. Allison, you were supposed to put a done at the end. Now I don't know which ones are. Okay, well, let's just do. Let's put a done there, because these are all from yesterday, so she must have read them. So. Okay, so I got a super chat over here in YouTube from Amasang, who gives us $5 and says, hold on, Doc had a channel called Dark Cheese that featured Duncan, guardian of the dark shell. Shells? Cheese? Did someone burn the supper?
You can't burn shells. Shells are almost unburnable, I think. And cheese is unburnable. You can't burn cheese so much that you can't eat it anymore. The more burned the cheese is, the better it tastes. Yes, even if it's black. Don't be a racist.
All right, thank you. I think he means like those pasta shells. You know what, shells and cheese? You guys have that, like macaroni and cheese? Do you guys have that in the UK? Okay. Yeah, it's like macaroni and cheese, but instead of little elbow macaroni things, they're little shell-shaped pasta, but they're not actually shell. Why would we do that? Why would we say this should be a shell shape and it's a piece of pasta? I don't know.
It's easier to eat than spaghetti. Spaghetti is a bit of a nightmare to eat.
Well, yeah,
poke it with a fork because it's thinner than your average fork.
It's true. You mean the gap in between the?
No,
what do they
I
call
mean
it?
the prongs of the fork itself are too wide to just stab into a piece of spaghetti, so you got to wind it around, and it's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's true.
Apparently,
Yeah.
Italians eat spaghetti by just picking it up with their hands and pulling their heads back and lowering it into their mouth because it's not covered in stupid amounts of sauce like we do outside Italy. Anyway, this has nothing to do with men's issues. So
but it's fascinating. I love talking about food. Okay, so anyway, let us know what you guys think about this in the comments. I'm now going to end the stream on YouTube, and we will see you all hopefully over on Rumble.
YouTube is asshole. Piss off YouTube.
All right.